Have you ever had a moment where you finally saw through someone's mask? That moment when their intentions, manipulative, deceptive, or harmful, became crystal clear? It's like a switch flips, and suddenly you can see the game they're playing. But here's the thing. Evil, true malice, doesn't like to be exposed. When people with harmful intentions realize that you're onto them, they react. And these reactions are not random, they're predictable. So let's explore the 7 things evil people do when they know that you know. The first move is always denial. What? Me? How could you think that? They'll feign innocence, act hurt, or try to make you doubt yourself. They'll rewrite the narrative to paint themselves as the victim. Why? Because if you doubt your perception, they regain control. If denial doesn't work, the next step is deflection. Suddenly it's not about them, it's about you, your flaws, or someone else entirely. They'll twist the situation so cleverly that you might even start apologizing for calling them out. People with harmful intentions can be incredibly charismatic when they need to be. When they sense they're being unmasked, they might double down on kindness, generosity, or compliments. It's all a performance to lure you back into trusting them. Isolation is a powerful tool. If they can turn others against you, they can silence you. They'll plant seeds of doubt in your friends, colleagues, or family, painting you as the problem. Can you believe they think I'd do something like that? They'll say. If subtle manipulation doesn't work, they'll raise the stakes. They might lash out with anger, threats, or even revenge. It's their way of intimidating you into silence. Woe is me. When all else fails, they'll act as if your discovery has deeply wounded them. They'll cry, plead, and make you feel guilty for questioning them. It's emotional blackmail at its finest. Sometimes the easiest way for them to maintain their facade is to step back. They'll distance themselves, lay low, and wait for the storm to pass. And when they return, they'll pretend nothing ever happened. Because recognizing these behaviors isn't just about self-defense, it's about reclaiming your power. When you know these patterns, you can stop second-guessing yourself. You can stand firm in the truth and refuse to be manipulated. Here's the bigger lesson. You can't control how these people react, but you can control how you respond. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to convince them. What you have to do is set boundaries and stay aligned with your integrity. Because at the end of the day, truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs to stand firm. So when you find yourself in the presence of someone who reveals their true nature, don't let fear or doubt take over. Remember, their power lies in deception. And once you see through it, they lose their grip. Evil thrives in deception and denial because its power is rooted in the ability to control perceptions. When someone engages in harmful or manipulative behavior, the last thing they want is to be exposed. Their tactics rely on remaining undetected, which allows them to maintain their influence over others. Denial becomes their first line of defense because it sows seeds of doubt. They know that if they can make others question their own observations or instincts, they regain control over the situation. Denial often manifests in subtle but effective ways. For instance, the person may outright reject the truth by saying things like, "That never happened," or "I would never do something like that." This is a calculated move. They are not necessarily concerned with proving their innocence, but with creating enough uncertainty that the observer begins to question their own judgment. The human mind is naturally inclined to avoid conflict and seek harmony, and they exploit this tendency. By forcefully denying their actions, they put others in a position where they feel unsure about challenging them further. What makes denial so powerful is its psychological impact. Humans are social creatures who rely on trust and shared realities to navigate the world. When someone denies something that appears obvious, it can create cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance occurs when there's a conflict between what we perceive and what we are told. This inner conflict makes people uncomfortable, and to resolve it, they may start rationalizing the denial. For example, someone might think, maybe I misunderstood the situation, or perhaps I am being too sensitive. This self-doubt is exactly what the manipulative person wants to achieve. Another aspect of denial is its emotional appeal. Those who deny wrongdoing often adopt a tone of disbelief or hurt to make their denial seem genuine. They may say things like, I can't believe you think that of me, or how could you accuse me of such a thing? This tactic shifts the focus from their actions to your audacity for questioning them. It forces you to defend yourself rather than hold them accountable, further reinforcing their ability to avoid responsibility. Understanding this behavior is crucial because denial is not just about lying, it is about controlling the narrative. When someone denies their harmful actions, they are attempting to rewrite reality in their favor. They are not just rejecting the truth, they are actively constructing an alternate version of events that serves their interests. Recognizing this pattern allows you to approach the situation with clarity. The key is to trust your instincts and observations, even when faced with strong denials. Remember, the strength of a denial does not make it true. It only shows the lengths to which someone will go to maintain their facade. By being aware of the psychological and emotional mechanisms behind denial, you empower yourself to see through the deception. Instead of being drawn into their narrative, you can stand firm in your understanding of the truth and protect yourself from manipulation. Deflection and blame shifting are key tactics used by individuals who wish to avoid accountability for their harmful actions. When someone with manipulative or harmful intent is confronted with the truth, they often instinctively turn the focus away from themselves. Instead of taking responsibility, they redirect attention toward the person confronting them or toward external circumstances. This tactic is designed to confuse, disorient, and ultimately absolve themselves of blame. At its core, deflection is a psychological strategy. It works by shifting the narrative so that the focus is no longer on their behavior, but on something or someone else. For example, if someone is confronted about lying, they may respond with something like, well, everyone lies sometimes, or why are you making such a big deal about this? This move is subtle but powerful because it immediately takes the pressure off them. The focus shifts from their behavior to a broader or unrelated issue, leaving the person confronting them uncertain about how to proceed. Blame shifting, on the other hand, is a more direct form of deflection. In this case, the manipulative individual actively assigns responsibility for their actions to someone else. They may say things like, I only did that because you made me angry, or if you hadn't acted that way, I wouldn't have done it. By doing this, they not only avoid taking responsibility, but also create a sense of guilt or shame in the other person. This tactic is particularly effective because most people naturally reflect on their own actions in difficult situations. If someone blames them, they may start to wonder if they truly are at fault, even when they are not. Deflection and blame shifting also exploit emotional vulnerabilities. When someone confronts another person about harmful behavior, they are often seeking validation or resolution. They want to be heard and understood. Deflection undermines this effort by sidestepping the issue entirely, leaving the person feeling dismissed or invalidated. Blame shifting adds another layer by making the person feel as though they are the problem. This can lead to a cycle of self-doubt, where the individual begins to question their own role in the situation and becomes less likely to hold the manipulative person accountable in the future. It is also important to note that deflection and blame shifting are not always obvious. They can be wrapped in seemingly logical arguments or disguised as concern for the other person. For instance, someone might say, I'm sorry you feel that way, instead of addressing their own actions. This statement appears empathetic, but subtly shifts the responsibility onto the person who feels hurt, implying that their emotions are the real issue rather than the manipulative behavior. Recognizing deflection and blame shifting is essential for protecting yourself from manipulation. When confronted with these tactics, it is important to stay focused on the original issue and resist the urge to defend yourself against irrelevant accusations. By doing so, you can prevent the manipulative person from derailing the conversation and maintain control over the narrative. Understanding these tactics allows you to see through the confusion they create and hold firm in your pursuit of truth and accountability. Using charm as a weapon is one of the most deceptive tactics manipulative individuals employ when they sense their true intentions are being uncovered. Charm in this context is not genuine warmth or kindness, but a calculated strategy to regain control and influence. It is a powerful tool because people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel good or valued. When charm is used manipulatively, it serves to distract, disarm, and confuse. When someone realizes they are being exposed for harmful behavior, they may suddenly become overly charismatic and attentive. This shift can feel jarring, especially if the person has previously been cold, dismissive, or critical. They might shower you with compliments, engage in acts of generosity, or express sudden and exaggerated interest in your life. This change is designed to make you question your perception of their behavior. Instead of focusing on the harm they caused, you may start to wonder if you misunderstood them. The manipulative person uses charm to create a smokescreen, diverting attention from their actions and making you second-guess your instincts. Another reason charm is such an effective tool is that it taps into the human need for connection and approval. Most people want to feel appreciated and validated, and manipulative individuals exploit this desire. By being charming, they temporarily fulfill this emotional need, creating a sense of closeness or intimacy. This makes it harder for you to hold them accountable because you may feel guilty or ungrateful for questioning someone who appears to be treating you so well. Charm also creates a sense of cognitive dissonance, which is the mental discomfort that arises when someone's actions and words do not align. For example, if someone has been manipulative but suddenly becomes kind and attentive, it creates a conflict in your mind. You might think, if they are being so nice now, could I have been wrong about them before? This internal conflict can make you more likely to overlook their past behavior or give them the benefit of the doubt. The manipulative person relies on this confusion to avoid accountability and maintain control. It is also important to recognize that charm is often used to manipulate not just individuals, but entire groups. In social settings, a manipulative person may go out of their way to appear likable and charismatic to others, while subtly undermining or dismissing the person who has uncovered their true nature. This can make it difficult for the person who sees through the manipulation to speak out, because others may view the manipulative person as harmless or even admirable. To protect yourself from this tactic, it is important to separate actions from intentions. Ask yourself if the person's charm aligns with consistent behavior over time, or if it feels sudden and out of character. Pay attention to whether their kindness is accompanied by genuine accountability for their actions, or if it seems designed to distract from the issue at hand. By recognizing charm as a potential weapon rather than a genuine quality, you can avoid being swayed by superficial gestures and stay focused on the truth. Understanding this tactic allows you to maintain clarity and protect yourself from further manipulation. Isolation and manipulation through the gathering of allies is one of the most insidious tactics used by manipulative individuals when they sense that someone has uncovered their true intentions. This behavior stems from a need to control the narrative and maintain power. By turning others against the person who has exposed them, they can create an environment where their version of events is the dominant one, while discrediting the individual who knows the truth. The first step in this tactic is to plant seeds of doubt in the minds of others. Manipulative individuals may approach friends, colleagues, or even family members of the person who exposed them and start spreading subtle negative messages. They might say things like, "I'm really worried about them lately. They seem to be overreacting to everything." Or, "I don't know why they would think something like that about me. It's so out of character for them." These comments are carefully designed to appear concerned or confused rather than openly hostile, which makes them more believable to the people hearing them. Once they have started to create doubt, they often escalate by sharing a distorted version of events. In their retelling, they will position themselves as the victim and the other person as unreasonable, aggressive, or even harmful. For example, they might say, "I don't know what I did to deserve this, but they've been acting so unfair toward me." Or, "I've always tried to support them, but now they're accusing me of things I didn't do." This tactic serves to shift sympathy toward the manipulative individual while isolating the person who has uncovered their behavior. Another aspect of this tactic is the creation of an us versus them dynamic. Manipulative individuals often try to build a coalition of people who will side with them against the person they are targeting. This might involve making others feel as though supporting them is a way of being loyal or kind. They may say things like, "I really need you to believe me. I don't have anyone else to turn to." Or, "You're the only one who really understands what I'm going through." By appealing to the emotions and loyalty of others, they can create a network of allies who will defend them and dismiss the concerns of the person who has uncovered their actions. The goal of this behavior is twofold. First, it isolates the person who has exposed them, making it harder for that individual to find support or validation. Second, it strengthens the manipulative individual's position by creating a chorus of voices that reinforce their version of events. This can make the person who sees through their manipulation feel powerless and alone, which is exactly what the manipulative individual wants. To counter this tactic, it is important to stay grounded in your understanding of the situation and seek out support from people who are able to view the situation objectively. Focus on presenting facts rather than engaging in emotional arguments, and avoid becoming entangled in the web of manipulation. By recognizing the strategy of isolation and manipulation, you can protect yourself from its effects and maintain your clarity and confidence in the face of such behavior. Emotional blackmail and temporary retreat are two interconnected strategies manipulative individuals often use when they sense they have been exposed. These tactics are designed to regain control of the situation by eliciting guilt, confusion, or sympathy, while buying themselves time to regroup and plan their next move. Understanding these strategies can help you recognize the manipulation at play and protect yourself from being drawn into their cycle of control. Emotional blackmail works by exploiting a person's natural empathy and desire for harmony. When confronted with their harmful behavior, manipulative individuals may suddenly shift gears and present themselves as the victim. They might cry, plead, or express deep hurt about the confrontation. Common phrases include, "I can't believe you think I would do something like that," or "You're breaking my heart by accusing me of this." This tactic forces the focus away from their actions and places it on your reaction, making you feel as though you are the one causing harm. By presenting themselves as vulnerable, they tap into your sense of compassion and guilt. Most people are naturally inclined to comfort someone who appears to be in pain, which makes this tactic particularly effective. The manipulative person knows that by portraying themselves as emotionally wounded, they can distract you from holding them accountable. This approach also creates a moral dilemma. You may begin to question whether confronting them was the right thing to do, or feel pressure to prioritize their feelings over addressing their harmful actions. In some cases, emotional blackmail escalates into more overt forms of manipulation, such as threats or ultimatums. For example, a person might say, "If you keep accusing me, I don't know how I'll cope." Or, "I guess I'm just a terrible person in your eyes, so there's no point in trying anymore." These statements are designed to make you feel responsible for their well-being, or to back down out of fear of causing further distress. Temporary retreat often follows emotional blackmail, especially if the initial tactic does not succeed. When someone realizes that their attempts to manipulate you are not working, they may choose to withdraw from the situation entirely. This can take the form of physical distance, such as avoiding contact for a period of time, or emotional withdrawal, such as becoming unresponsive or aloof. The goal of this retreat is to create a sense of uncertainty or doubt in your mind. You might start to wonder if you are too harsh or if their silence is a sign of genuine hurt. The temporary retreat also serves as a reset for the manipulative individual. By stepping back, they can observe the situation, reassess their approach, and plan their next move. When they return, they often do so with a new strategy, either resuming their charm offensive or attempting to reframe the situation as if nothing happened. This tactic relies on the hope that time will diminish the impact of the confrontation and make it easier for them to reestablish control. Recognizing these patterns is crucial for maintaining your clarity and boundaries. Emotional blackmail and retreat are designed to shift the power dynamics in their favor. But by staying focused on the facts and refusing to be swayed by guilt or confusion, you can protect yourself from their influence and hold firm in